The Scene Projects are brought to you by these fine sponsors: Cliff Avenue Upholstery and Restoration, Chevy Girl Advertising and Booking, Sunny Radio, and SiouxFallsPodcast.com. Welcome into a very exciting episode of The Scene. I'm your host, Bubba Starts, and with me today is American soul and blues man, Mark Joseph. What's happening, brother?
Hey, how you doing, Bubba? Good, man. Doing good. How you doing?
I've spent the last 20 minutes grooving on Palisade Peach. I'm doing good.
Yeah, right on. Good. Happy to hear it. That's awesome.
Man, go ahead. Just give us a little bit of the backstory. Who is Mark Joseph? And then we're going to pick up, man. You've had an incredible year and we want to get to that, but I want everybody to have a chance to get to know you.
Right on. Yeah, Mark Joseph. I'm American blues, country, soul artist. I've been on the road for 21 years. I've made 4 full-length LPs. I play guitar in a band called the Big Woo from Minnesota, and do various other things from producing and consulting artists. I'm a music man and, blessed to do it for a living and, just out here, independent, not signed by any major record label, not owned by any sponsors, totally independent, American artist out here trying to live a dream, So.
Freaking beautiful, man. That's why you are, you're going to be a big part of what we are as the Scene Projects, because what we want to do is pump up the best, pump up everybody, but to really showcase the best of the best out here, because we've been flyover country. I mean, my whole life, I'm 38, man. It's never, we've never been somewhere to stop. I mean, you're in the city, so it's a little bit different, but I grew up in Deadwood, a town that you're familiar with. Nobody was ever talking about us. We don't even barely have local media talking about us, right? So that's kind of how this evolved. Now we're doing, kind of feature length write-ups, right? I've enjoyed getting to write, and I want to read some of the things that other people have written about you because I found it amusing. Mark plays guitar and sings like a demon assassin. It's from Greg Koch.
Yep, that's a good one.
Tons of soul, killer guitar playing, musical legend in the making. That was Jessica Paxton, The Current. I got to witness it live, Mark. Seeing what you did. Oh, we lost him, but we'll get him back.
All right. Sorry about that.
You're all good.
All right, we're back.
No, you're good, man. So yeah, I mean, I was just talking about, I got to witness it live, Wild West Songwriters Festival, the regional competition, you won, quote unquote. You were recognized because you owned the weekend, man. I wrote about it in my article that there's gravity it's a real, right? I mean, it's a tangible thing, and nothing exemplified what Wild West Songwriter weekend should be, and the gravity that Mark Joseph is holding right now than that set at the Saloon number 10, man. It was bonkers.
Respect. I appreciate that very much. It was powerful. That writers round was, I agree, is really what it's all about. When you have that much talent in one place, in that environment, everybody's listening, connected. Great songwriters, I feel like, kind of, and I'm referring to the other 2 people I was playing with in particular, they make each other better. So when you're surrounded by that kind of talent, every song that comes out, the next one, just the elevation just keeps going up. It keeps going up. And I love the organic element of it too. And I was honored to be a part of it, man. I felt it. It was very powerful that day in that room. It was one of my favorite rounds I've ever done as an artist.
Well, and even beyond that, I was speaking about the show you played in front of the fireplace more than anything.
Oh yeah, right on. That was a good time too, man. That was we definitely got going there. That's I kind of consider well, Saloon Number 10 is like my home base in the Black Hills for sure. I consider them family, and so to
Me
be
too.
yeah, to not only and they are, there's been so good to me over the years and really believe in me. And to be in front of that fireplace, during Wild West, Songwriter Festival is like it was extra awesome.
It was a
Yeah.
special moment. I mean, no doubt. For me, super special because I'm good friends with Molly and Shalissa I had just met, but Bobby
Yeah.
Joe, we had played our round earlier in the day. I'm good friends with these women, and seeing you get them up there to let them swim in that. I got to play. I was very fortunate to get to play with my band at the Saloon 10 back in that room. You've played there. there
Yeah.
there's a magical element to that building. I saw Vince Converse play there 25 years ago, right in
Yeah.
front of that fireplace before the backstage was even a thing, right? So
Sure.
that was my first job, Mark. I don't know if you know, my roots go
Oh,
very deep. Yeah, the
all
social
right.
club.
That's
um
cool. Great.
yeah, I've always been family. My family has worked there, right? So I feel
Yeah.
that, and I'm so blessed to hear someone who comes from, to us, a much bigger scene, right? You're coming from the cities, and for a lot of us, we're like, holy, this guy's in the big woo. This guy is someone. And to have you come and go, no, you guys have something here,
Yeah.
means a lot to us, right?
Yeah, you really do. I mean, I've sort of speaking of gravity, I've been kind of I've gravitated towards the Black Hills and Deadwood in particular my whole life. I first came there when I was 9 years old, and I'm a student of history. And I can't get enough. I try to learn as much as I can, and of course, there's so much amazing storied history throughout the Black Hills, and so Deadwood's always been a special place to me, and to continue to come back there year after year. You guys have been so good to me too. Like, I mean, it's an absolute pleasure to come and perform there.
Well, and a big shout out to the whole Wild West Songwriter crew. You guys are
Yeah.
incredible. I don't have anything to do other than showing up and getting to hang out, but very blessed. I know a lot of those people. Jesse Allen obviously deserves a
Yep.
huge shout out. Whoever's doing the matchmaking did an awesome job this year. If there's a committee, kudos to you guys, because it was incredible. Just to
Indeed.
be able to move around town and to get all that. You talk about history. Stuff you're working on right now is kind of a trip down and through history as well, right? I mean, obviously, the blues music that you're making is definitely a throwback, at least what I'm hearing. But you had mentioned something at the Songwriters Festival that some of even the new stuff that you're doing is going further in that direction and really becoming a music historian in real life, if you would.
Yeah, I'm definitely starting to step into that world. I did a little bit of that in the Vegas Motel record, which some people consider like the pandemic record for me. But I definitely I kind of took some commission pieces I was writing during that time and experimenting with that style of songwriting. Like, for instance, putting yourself in another person's perspective, and literally writing from that place. One of the songs is written from the standpoint of a single mother, who's got a 1 year old baby with no support in the world, right? One of the little Lucy, like that's where that song's written from. And so I've started to dabble with that over the last few years, writing from other people's perspectives, putting myself into like those different kind of points in history or like people's life experiences, and then attempting to write from those places. It's something that I consider a work in progress, just like anything in music. And my new record, which will come out next year, is a biographical record about a storied guy from the Dixie Mafia, and it's very much written from that style and perspective. So,
Would you say that's kind of an evolution of the songwriting process? I think we all start out writing our emotions, right? And we're coming from that place of inside and but then to be able to tell others people's stories, right? And to not just like someone and can have a conversation with, but being able to read a story and put yourself in those shoes. That's pretty far down the line of the evolution of a songwriter.
Yeah, it's definitely Willie Nelson says you can't make a record if you don't have something to say, that's part of it. And certainly it has been an evolution. Songwriting is a skill just like anything else. And so, when you first start, of course, you write about what you know about, you write about the things that you experienced from the firsthand, and that's step one. And I think it's very natural, and that's where you should start, because what else are you going to write about? You write about what you know about. But if you choose to try to develop the craft and try to grow your skill set, I think inevitably, and I kind of learned this from John Prine and Merle Haggard and other writers of that sort of ilk, storytellers. I kind of learned that there's so many different layers and depths that you can bring to the craft of songwriting, right? And and with that comes a whole nother world. You kind of open a door into a whole nother universe where there's possibilities are endless. In fact, I say this a lot. I do believe it, that everywhere you look is a song. There's a song everywhere. Everyone you've ever met, everywhere you ever go, and that's why my whole life I've been a student of history, but I draw a lot of inspiration from history because there's much to be learned from that. And I think the next kind of chapter of my writing will be a lot of that. I've got a few concepts I'm already developing, even, things about Wild West and like, Little Bighorns, a subject matter that I've been attempting to tackle for many years, and might, in the soon future, I may end up writing a record around that time period, Civil War, things like that. And
American moments.
yeah, which are, they seem like that long time ago, but really in the scope of history, it actually was not that long ago. It's only several generations away from us.
Two
Uh,
people, not even
yeah,
150
yeah,
years ago, some of it,
yeah,
right? So
yeah.
yeah, not that long ago.
Yeah, and there's lessons to be learned there and stories to be told, and and that's just where I gravitate towards. Everybody's different. Everybody's got different interests, and if we're trying to message out or speak to songwriting craft in general, like that goes for almost anything in life, anything that moves you, inspires you. There's other people in the world who resonate with that. And I think that at the end of the day, the most important thing is just like being genuine and being yourself. Nothing is going to resonate stronger than you being you. Nobody else is like you. They might be similar to you, but they're not you. And the more you're in touch with that messaging and that true message from your heart and your soul, I think the more audience member, more fans you're going to gain, the more traction you're going to have, because people that will resonate. What's real resonates.
Yeah. Well, and what's crazy is that there's been some crazy YouTube videos between Joe Rogan and then the last couple of weeks, and the studies they're doing with plasmoids and all this stuff out in space, and they are showing the ether, right? And they got like a dark energy and dark matter, and they got all these names because they don't know what
Yeah.
the hell it is, and
Yeah.
but they're being able to see it all of a sudden, and you're like, yeah, we know that, right? Like
Yeah.
we felt
Yeah.
it. Obviously a lot of people are going to know you from the jam band scene, right? The Big Woo. Do you think that, obviously, and your career has taken you all over the country. Do you feel like that gives you something as a songwriter, that different perspective, getting out of your Midwest, out of the comfort zone? Obviously, the song Venice Grind, I could see you filmed down there. I have some memories from Venice Beach. I was down there for a few
Yeah.
months in my career, busking right where you were at, man. It brought
Yeah,
back some really
man.
cool memories. Really
Yeah.
cool. But do you think that like, for young songwriters, like, you got to get out, you got to travel a little bit, like those
Yeah.
things add to who you are, and then that affects your songwriting, and it kind of is all a part of itself, right?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. 100%. I couldn't agree more. Travel is everything. Travel brings perspective, it brings depth, it brings experience, and it's a craft. I always try to say we're about here trying to honor the craft as best we can, and part of the way you do that is you bring your music to people. I happen to love traveling, so it works out good for me. But regardless, yes, traveling, seeing the world, performing for different kinds of people, it's absorbing different kinds of people's energies and also their cultures and their musical scenes too is huge, because everywhere you go in the world is a different flavor. It's like you're at the world buffet and there's different things you can taste
Even
and
just
flavors.
in blues music,
Oh
it's
yeah.
flavored differently from the Gulf of Mexico all the way through Chicago and into
Yep.
that. And now
That's right.
with 100 years or 200 years of evolution of that craft, what it sounds like now is totally different. Guy like Vince Converse, you yourself, I mean, you guys are playing all those styles, and then it's kind of getting mixed in its own blender as well. So yeah, it's really interesting to see where music is evolving to. Now you're starting to add the electronic elements to things, and yeah, it's crazy to be an independent musician, because this wasn't possible really even 20 years ago to the level that it is now. Would you agree?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, we're living in a connected age. There's so much opportunity right now that I think in ways that have never really been before. So it's a great opportunity now in this day and age to reach an audience, connect with people, to have your music and your videos heard by wide array of people. It's different, of course, right? Everything changes, so you have to continue to adapt through time, and you don't have to love every element of it. Lord knows I don't, but that's okay. That's what it is. And you got to go out there into the spaces where there's people who want to listen. That's also part of why traveling matters, because you have to go find an audience. Just because you were born in Minnesota or Deadwood, South Dakota, or Los Angeles, California, doesn't mean that your fan base is going to be in your backyard necessarily. They might be, and I think there'll be signs if you're on the right path, whatever it is you're doing, whether you're writing or performing or whatever it is. But oftentimes I think that, it's a vast world out there, and your audience may be, who knows? I mean, when Queen first broke, their first audiences were in Asia, and I mean, would we even know who that band is today if they had never gone to Japan or to the Philippines, right? Would their talent
Right.
have been realized on
Hendrix
any level?
Hendrix having to, get out of the spotlight of the bands that he was playing in and go
Yeah.
to Europe. I mean, there's no different. They almost say you'll never get famous in your hometown, right? I think there's a country song out there now, something about to that effect. And to some effect, I feel like that in Deadwood. Everyone already knows me. So how much more famous can I get? Like
Well, and there's something to be said about the hometown support system though too. It's like, use it, don't abuse it. It's like I think Ice Cube. I remember an interview with him talking about where he's kind of was also commenting on how, like, you're not going to be big anywhere if you can't be big too in your backyard. So it goes both ways. It's good to have a support system. I would encourage young artists to use your hometown and support network, which should inevitably be there, to kind of help launch you in other places. And what I've found is that the more I travel, the more I go out in the world, the more I represent, because I represent where I'm from, and of course, proudly. When you come home, everybody's rooting you on, and they're stoked. They can't wait to see you again. You came back, you've been on tour. People are like, "Whoa, dude, what happened? Like, tell us about this, tell us about that." And they're all that more apt to triple down on your support for you, because they want to see you make it. You're their brother, you're their sister, your family from your hometown. They want to see you make it, and so they're rooting you on. And so I think it's a good, always stay connected to your hometown and build from there for sure, but you got to go out far beyond that for sure.
Well, and I think what you just hit on is why shows like The Voice and America's Got Talent and all these things that people can vote from home for, that's why they're so popular. They want to
Sure.
see people make it, right? They're willing
Absolutely.
to put their money behind it in some cases and their attention.
That's right.
That kind of leads me into the evolution of what will be the Songwriter Showcase. We're doing December 15th at the Midway Saloon up in St. Paul.
Yeah,
Really
man.
my first soiree into the cities. I got up and played a few solo shows this summer. Day
Cool.
Block Brewing was one downtown, Lynn Lake
Yeah.
Brewery, another one. Two cool spots, man. But
Yeah.
yeah, really fortunate. Midway Saloon, great spot, gonna let us come and hang out and to just do this and play music on stage all together. It's gonna be a beautiful thing.
Yeah, man.
And we're talking about, the evolution of that is maybe having an element where we can elevate people from this. Maybe there's an opportunity for artists and these people. And can you impress everyone enough that you win this thing? I don't care. To see the success of it with the Wild West Songwriter Festival, shows me there's something to it, right? The success of
Yep.
those shows and everything, it gives everyone that you're waving their flag. Then, just like you said, you're carrying them with you when you go out of town or when you make that next show or whatever it is, you know.
Yep. Yep.
That's amazing.
I think that's great what you're doing. I'm stoked for that event as well. It's going to be fun to kind of experience what you guys are up to in real time. And I'll bring my best to it. And, I love that you're advocating for other artists. That's a big part of the puzzle out here. We can't wait for other people to give us a voice, or wait for Sony Records or Universal to come along and try to represent true American independent artists. It's not going to happen. We have to do it ourselves. And you're doing the real work.
And it came from that. And I was just listening to your song, The Whole World's Got the Blues. Is that what it is?
Yep. Yep.
And you're talking about helping your brother, and it just hit me right in the heart, because it's like, when I turned this around, because I have my own music career, I've been doing the Bubba Show, right, and trying to put it out there, and it's like, man, that's a tough grind. When as soon as I started talking about everybody else, it started getting a lot more traction. And it's like, well, yeah, because they're all taking that out in the world and showing it to their people. And it's like, this is all building. It's like, that's way better. I'll sit at home and write articles and nice words and talk to everyone I can, if that's helping everyone else, because I was paying for this, right? Like, I was paying for press to a company in the UK, and I was happy to do it. And it was like, well, I would do that for free for my friends, you know? And then I think from there, the success, the money, or the whatever comes from it. If you can keep me on the road going to talk to songwriters and to continue to do exactly what I'm doing right now, I'll run this for the next 5, 6, 7 decades until I lose the capability to do it at all.
Sure, man. And that's great. If I think if you find joy in it, it brings you joy. And it's in the, that's a line from one of my songs, actually. It's the joy is in the giving, it is. You're giving a platform, you're creating and giving one and sharing it, and it multiplies. When you give love, when you show love, when you lead with light, it multiplies. And that's what it's really all about. I live by those words. I say you're bound to be blessed. I mean, I truly believe that all people are bound to be blessed. You got to just wake up and go after it, and find the people who see it the same way, like yourself, and who are willing to, help the helpers that are out there. So many people who are willing to, go out on a limb. I mean, creating a platform for artists is not an easy thing to do. It takes time and energy and vision and dedication and commitment and all these things. And but you know what? Great rewards await you when you put your whole heart into it, and you believe in others, and you give your best to something you believe in.
Yeah, I mean, I had a blast yesterday, just getting to sit back and recap what was one of the most beautiful weekends of my life, and to put my words out there. Mark, we had 750 people hit our website yesterday.
Yeah,
right?
man.
And
Great.
not just like cruising by a post or something. No, they went to the website and they were reading the article, right? And I'm starting to see that now. And we're talking, this is only maybe 2 weeks of doing the written content. Where, okay, yeah, this is working. I love doing it. I grew up with Rolling Stone, right? Rolling Stone, what isn't what it is and what it got to be. It was where I went. Growing up in Deadwood, I didn't have a connection to any music. There was no real music scene, not like I wanted. So when I left home, what I found, I went out to the, Venice had the Venice Weekly or whatever, and Bend, Oregon had something. Every little town had their own weekly magazine, and South Dakota has nothing. So that was the mission, setting out and going, we need to be talking about these people. If we don't do it, nobody's going to. I'm tired of not, selfishly, I was like, I want someone to talk to, but everyone deserves it, right? Mark Joseph deserves it. And the kid just starting out writing his first song deserves that too. Let's get a conversation going, So
absolutely.
Well, Mark,
yeah.
I appreciate your time, man. I know you're a busy guy. This has been a blessing. One thing I've been focusing on is being the blessing, right? I am a blessing. You are a blessing. Go and live that. And I think you do it in spades, brother. I really appreciate you today.
Thank you. Thanks, Bubba. Appreciate y'all. See you December 15th. All right.
Let's go.
Yeah, man.
Thanks for listening. Remember to follow the Scene Projects on all your social media channels and get even more content at thesceneprojects.com.
Got a notion for the love that's made me true.